What's up, guys? This is Hardy from Digital Painting Studio, and today we are continuing our Character Squad project. This is week 2 of this 4-parter, and this is going to be awesome. We are designing and painting this huge brute character, this big blue cigar-chomping alien. This guy will be the brute archetype in our squad. We'll talk a lot more about that particular archetypes in general. We will also talk about what makes squads cool. We will go over a checklist of things you need to think about and design into the squad in general, kind of all of the interpersonal dynamics, and also stuff to think about when designing and rendering each character individually. And finally, we will talk a lot about stylization, because obviously this guy will be very stylized. Really fun stuff to think about as a character artist, and if you are doing the Character Squad Challenge, there will be a lot of really valuable stuff to unpack here, so let's dive in. So why are character squads cool? Why is this group of characters somehow more interesting than just the sum of their individuals? Interesting thing to think about. And I think it boils down to a few main things. It just resonates with us as people. We are social creatures. Kind of interpersonal dynamics are just interesting to us. It's also this teamwork thing, like the stories there. When you see the bridge crew of a Star Trek show, pick your whatever, Next Generation or Original or whatever. When you see those assembled personalities, you see the stories there, the trust, the relationships, the adventures that they have been through together, the shared history. It just kind of gets your imagination sparking more than if you just saw, Picard standing by himself. It's interesting in that way. Another thing I love about a character squad is how they all pivot off of the main character. So last week when we designed our main character, sort of the hero of our squad, she was by far the most layered and nuanced and complex character. She has many different sides to her. The other characters we will design in this squad all pivot around that. So today we are taking strength, just brute physical strength, and making that into its own character. We are taking that small personality attribute and expanding it into its whole thing. And we can do that with all different kinds of personality attributes. That's what archetypes are, is sort of taking a small part of a complex person, isolating it, and cranking it up to 11. There is the gameplay aspect. So much of this art is informed by what kind of an adventure could we go on with this squad? How could their different strengths and weaknesses complement one another so that they can help each other out in a battle or help each other solve problems and puzzles? That is just inherently interesting when you see very different kinds of characters that have obviously different skill sets. And that is a big part of the job of being a character artist, is designing something that is interesting, but that tells a story that kind of communicates all of those fun to explore dynamics that we want to really draw our viewer in. We want somebody to see this squad of characters and imagine some adventure that they could go on together. Let's talk about archetypes. These are a concept artist's best friend. They are the neat little boxes that we can just peg any character into, kind of the type, their class. So hero, villain, there could be some subcategories like special skills like a wizard or a hacker or something like that. You have kind of the adorable little sidekick. Each one of them is a tidy little box that you can put a character in. All of these archetypes just interact with each other in a very interesting way, in a way that your viewer will just get because they know these archetypes. It's familiar. Remember that 80-20 rule. We can make something 80% familiar, something that your viewer recognizes and understands, but then we have that last 20% to play with. Today, we are making a brute. Big, strong dude. He is the protector of the squad. He embodies physical strength. So some examples, think of like the Hulk, obviously, or Drax, or sort of Groot in the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Weirdly, when he came back as Baby Groot, he became more of a sidekick, but that certainly works. The Thing in the Fantastic Four. We could keep going. Worf on Star Trek The Next Generation. Physically large, physically like supernaturally strong, and they protect the rest of the squad. And actually, here's a fun little spin on that. Whenever that brute protector character somehow gets defeated, it like terrifies you. So if you were a Star Trek fan, whenever some alien would actually physically overpower Worf, it would make you go like, whoa, we're in big trouble here. Or when Thanos physically overpowers the Hulk, it just makes you think we are actually up against something we can't defeat. The brute is used as this feeling of safety, but storytellers often know that when you yank that feeling of safety away, it creates drama. So with this character, big, strong, brute type alien. Got him in this casual pose. He's got 4 arms, you have no doubt noticed. 2 of them are sort of like, hanging out around his belt buckle. So he looks very confident and casual. He has this massive cannon casually slung over his shoulder. I'll have him chomping on a cigar, just another little personality bit. And my goal is for you to just hear this guy's gravelly voice when you see him. Maybe he doesn't talk very much. He just grunts or just is a character of few words. Maybe I love the character Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy because you assume he's just a basic brute in the beginning, but he's hilarious. He has so many layers to him. So maybe we could infuse some humor into this. That contrast is really cool. But that's the basic idea. Physical strength, huge muscles, protector, the person who is kind of the big muscle of the group, with all kinds of cool story possibilities baked in there. Let's go over a checklist of designing characters for a squad. So first and most important is people drawing skills. You can't make a great character with weak people drawing skills, which is tough to hear because that is one of the most difficult skills to learn, I think. That has been the biggest journey of my artistic career, is getting to a place where I feel really confident in my ability to create a believable, resonating person with my artwork. So things like gesture and anatomy, just kind of the personality that comes through in a pose, that is huge. That's the core of any individual character. And with this guy, obviously he is not a human, so I have stylized and expanded a lot of his anatomy to serve the story. And we'll get into that a little bit more later. There's also design language. So we need this guy to fit in his genre, his sci-fi-ness. So a lot of the individual shapes that I'm choosing, some of the patterns and motifs that I'm repeating, I want that to feel very fun sci-fi, kind of Guardians of the Galaxy or maybe Fifth Element, just very colorful, over-the-top, fun sci-fi. And finally, there's story. Every bit of detail that I add to this guy, every earring or tattoo, every scar, every scratch and ding on his gear or his gun, all tells a story. This guy has been through stuff. He has survived battles. He may have experienced loss. There may be a haunted backstory behind these alien eyes. All kinds of great stuff that we can imply with very subtle visual cues. And remember, this is all meant to be part of a larger group. So all of these subtle dynamics that we weave into the individual characters, they kind of echo around the squad. It lets your viewer imagine how one character would relate to another. It's one of those things that makes the squad more powerful than the sum of its individual parts. Finally, let's talk stylization. This is where we push extremes to emphasize the attributes of your archetype. That's a mouthful. Basically, this guy's a brute, so let's make him huge. Let's make him very big and very strong. Now, I have cheated a little bit by choosing an alien. What's awesome about that is it kind of unties my hands. I can make this guy's anatomy anything I want practically. Now I'm making it very grounded in human anatomy. This guy is like 90% human, but I am exaggerating things. I'm giving him these gigantic square muscles and features. His hands are just like catcher's mitts, but everything's very angular, very square. Gives him a feeling of strength and stability. It really emphasizes that protector role that we want our big muscle character to have in the squad. So you are free to push these things to really emphasize whatever archetype you are trying to really show. Even if it was a human character, we could go with, still a very strong looking character. We could give him a giant beard. We could give him big armor. All kinds of things to make him look physically imposing and strong, kind of undefeatable, and just communicating that kind of stoic warrior confidence. Awesome, the squad is taking shape. I think this guy is just about done, and it's really cool seeing these two finished characters together. I will have a third character coming out in my next video, and we will continue to see this squad take shape. I hope your stuff is going well if you're participating. I will catch you next time. In the meantime, good luck with your artwork. Paint something cool today.